Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading. And for this one I am using the Bosch Tarot, which I have not used for a while. It's rather an odd little deck, but it is about tortured souls, and we are apparently dealing, let's put an allegedly in, and please, for the rest of the reading, read that allegedly. We are allegedly dealing with a tortured soul in the form of Prince Harry, the alcoholic. And I'm not making light of alcoholism or any other form of addiction. I have it very close in my world, and I know how difficult it is for the person involved and for the people around that person. So not diminishing or dismissing the seriousness of the problem at all. But I'm going to be doing a Celtic cross using the Bosch Tarot. I'm going to be looking at the story that Lady C has been tantalizing us with, which is that the focus of the book, Harry's book, is going to be his journey to recovery as an alcoholic, his 12-step journey, written of course by his ghostwriter J.R. Moehringer, who is very familiar with the 12-step process, a great supporter of it. And it's going to tug at the heartstrings. It's going to reclaim his position, make everyone feel sorry for him. Poor Harry. Life as a royal was so difficult, so awful. They were all so cold and unfeeling, and they put so much pressure on him and blah blah, that he took to drink to console himself. And it was only when Meghan came along and said, has our relationship is going to fail unless you are dried out, that Meghan saved him. And so all about Meghan and how marvelous she is. A little bit too marvelous according to Lady C, but we're not going down the whole Oedipal road right now. It's just a bit creepy. But anyway, Meghan saved him. Lady C did indicate with her nose that he does possibly have some other substance issues now, ones that are possibly easier to accommodate in California than they were in Kensington Palace. So we're going to look at that as well. But we're going to look at his book, and Harry's book. I was a drunk, Meghan came and saved me, Meghan, who is also my mum, and now you're all going to love me again and forgive me for everything awful I ever did, and you're going to feel terribly sorry for me, and you're going to hate my father and my brother and the Queen and Prince Philip and everybody else for how nasty they were to me, and so on and so on. And I have to say before I start the reading that I'm quite disappointed. I was hoping for something much more salacious. I mean, you know, we've been following this story for so long. There's so many other things that could have been that might actually have shocked us and made us feel remorseful about our attitude to Prince Harry, our ever increasingly negative attitude towards Prince Harry. But sadly, this seems to be the story, but we're going to check it out. And see, underlying energy is the Two of Pentacles. This is my merching card. I've got something for sale. Here you are. Only 2 pentacles, but that's my best offer. Does look like he is going to be talking about trying to balance himself, because the Two of Pentacles is the juggler card, is trying to balance a situation that is out of control, bring harmony back. It's small fry. Their Justice card, for instance, and the Temperance card in Major Arcana have this energy too. It's only 2 of Pentacles. It's about making money. It's about where you spend those pentacles, where you put those pentacles, where you prioritize things. It's about choices, and the choice seems to be that this is the story that's going to lead this book. This is the engine that's going to go through the book. If you know anything about writing fiction, but not only fiction, true fiction, let's put it like that, you need a good engine, you need a good story engine, and this is the one that they are going to ride for all it's worth. So let's see, heart of the matter, Harry and the Booze and his book. We get the Magician. We get the Magician. This is the Manifester. This is J.R. Moehringer himself, working his magic with this story. He is going to work his magic. Lady C keeps warning what a fantastic writer he is, how compelling he is, how he can pull at the heartstrings. From the way she's going on about it, I'm fairly certain that proofs have already been given to the palace lawyers to look through. They're all reeling from shock at how compelling it is, and they're all sobbing into their breakfast tea. And oh no, what are we going to do? The public's going to fall for this, and Prince Harry's reputation is going to be reclaimed, and we're all going to look like heartless villains in this narrative. But there it is. There is the spin master himself. The challenge in trying to spin this tale. The challenge is... can't see it upside down. The Knight of Wands in reverse. How interesting, the Knight of Wands in reverse, because this is my second reading of the day, and I have just done one on Prince Charles and the half in, half out thing, and how he feels about Prince Harry coming back, Harry and Meghan, but I don't see Meghan coming back so much. Just Harry, who came out, the Knight of Wands in reverse. The Knight of Wands is the red-headed knight, the hot-headed knight when he's in reverse. He is somebody who blows hot and cold, unreliable, exaggerates, very dramatic, difficult. So the problem is that however much Moehringer tries to spin this story, he's dealing with this Knight of Wands in reverse. And I'm greatly comforted by the sight of that Knight of Wands in reverse, because we all know that Knight of Wands in reverse. We all know who Harry is. We've seen him naked playing billiards in Las Vegas. Not a very impressive sight, but we know. We've known him since he was in the womb, Prince Harry. So J.R. Moehringer really has got his work cut out to try and transform this creature into something that we are going to feel sorry for. Underlying energy of this reading, not underlying, hidden energy. Is this book some form of blackmail? I'm going to paint you as the villain, Papa, unless you let me and my lovely wife back in as half in, half out royals. Ten of Pentacles in reverse. It does seem that way. Ten of Pentacles. I'm sorry, it's a very rude depiction of the Ten of Pentacles, so let's put it away quickly. The Ten of Pentacles is the royal family, of course. The generations of royals, all equally wealthy, all equally well provided for. Status is very important. Pecking order, very important. And if you don't cough up, if you don't let us back in, if you don't open those purse strings again with that Ten of Pentacles in reverse, you're in big trouble. Your royal family is in big trouble. That you may not be around to pass on the crown to the next generation. It may all disappear. I do think a gun is being held to Prince Charles's head with this book. I very much think so, from the things that are coming out, that it will shock the royal family to its foundations, all that kind of thing. Every now and then we get this puff, this shot across the bow from Montecito, being blasted with it. It's not subtle at all. Warning shots. So, focus of the book is the focus of this book, written by the magician. Is it to spin this tale about how Harry was a drunk and saved by Meghan? And it's justice in reverse. It is a major arcana, and the justice card is all about what's fair. And so it's going to be the injustice that was perpetrated on Prince Harry by being second, the heir and the spare rather than the heir. Obviously something that he did not take kindly to. He feels that he's been mistreated, treated unfairly, wronged. So it does look as if this is the focus, is the sob story, is his grievances with the justice card in reverse. That everything that has happened to Prince Harry in his life has been terribly unfair. A pity fest, absolutely a pity fest. Don't think we're talking about legal proceedings here, although there might be legal issues around the book. It's not really what I was asking. There may be legal issues around the book. People saying, nah, you need to cross out that paragraph. You can't write that chapter. You can't defame so-and-so. Whatever. Lawyers' letters may be around it, because we're talking about the focus of the book at the moment and where it is kind of thing in his consciousness. So there could be some kind of legal drama around it. But more, I think, we're talking about the book from Harry's point of view and from his drinking narrative, yes, it's because my life was so hard, so difficult, so unfair. Even though I was born with a silver spoon or a whole set of silver spoons in my mouth, he views it as a terrible curse to be born that way. Justice in reverse is bad karma. And the dog is leaving the room. I'm just going to have to pause to let him out. I'm back and I'm going to look at the past energy now. Harry's relationship with alcohol in the past. We've seen him falling drunk out of pubs, bodyguards bundling him into cars, that kind of thing. Two of Wands in reverse. It has caused breakups of partnerships and plans, and things have gone horribly wrong because of booze. Two of Wands in reverse. Two of Wands is all about plans and partnerships and schemes, really. And it has caused problems with probably his partnerships with people like Invictus, or his personal relationships too, but that doesn't really show up here. It's more maybe even his relationship with the press. It has caused problems. Two of Wands. Wands always for me are press, PR, that kind of thing. It has given him bad press. Possibly it has caused problems with particular journalists that he was very friendly with and then decided that no, on closer inspection, not such a nice guy after all. There is that book, I can't remember her name, that news anchor, an American woman who has just published her memoirs. She said how when she interviewed Prince Harry, he stank of booze and cigarettes and she was so repulsed. That, for me, is that kind of attitude of people, maybe politicians, celebrities, meeting Prince Harry and thinking they were meeting a prince of the realm, and actually they're meeting a stale drunk, and not good. Not good, and maybe having to bury that kind of story to keep his reputation, save his reputation. So his relationship with the booze in future, is he going to, the dog has got lots to say, is he going to stay dry? What's the story going to be? And we get the, let's see these cards, Ace of Swords in reverse. It's going to be a problem for him. Ace of Swords is truth and clarity, a clear head, and it's in reverse. It tells me he's going to be fighting this demon for a long time, and I don't rejoice in that. There's no schadenfreude when I say that. I think it's one of those things that when you have it in your life, you have it for life. And Ace of Swords in reverse, he's going to struggle with it. He's going to fall off that wagon. For sure, with that Ace of Swords in reverse, it's going to be difficult for him. He's not going to see things clearly. He might think, oh, well, I'm cured. I can just have a beer with the boys. And then 5 days later, yeah, not so good. So it's that kind of vibe that's coming off that Ace of Swords in reverse. Problems ahead of him. Definitely big problems. So, Meghan saved him, apparently, and is going to be portrayed as such in the book. Let's see what the tarot wants to tell us about that. And we get I have to turn them around just to make sure I'm reading the numbers right, the 9 of Wands. But it's in the reverse. The 9 of Wands is about protecting somebody. Not very clear from these cards. You have to use your imagination to interpret these cards, these Bosch Tarot. But the 9 of Wands normally has somebody standing with a bandaged head with a whole bunch of sticks in front of them, a sort of stockade. They are protecting themselves. They've got their guard up. They've got a barrier around themselves. What it's telling me in reverse is that he dropped his guard with Meghan. He let her in. And possibly up until then he hadn't let anyone else in. He hadn't really opened up about his problems. Stiff upper lip thing may have been going on to a certain extent, but it does seem as if William and Catherine were quite empathetic and did try and broach the subject with him. He may not have got any of that kind of compassionate listening from older members of the royal family, and they're going to hear it. They're not going to be allowed to forget that in the book. But it does seem as if Californian girl Meghan Markle was the one that he opened up to. He dropped his guard to. He let her in, and she joined him in this struggle, because the Nine of Wands is about a struggle that is almost at its end. You're exhausted, you're wounded, you're bedraggled, you're worn out. You're still standing though, and when the card is in the reverse, you fall. And he may well have fallen at the moment he met Megan. Things may well have got very, very bad. He might have been in a very, very negative place in that cycle. It's an up and down cycle, of course, with drink and any form of addiction. You think you're winning the battle, and then you're not. And I think he was on a losing streak with this battle, or when she was around, and she was the one that said, okay, you need to do something about it, and he listened. So definitely, and we're going to hear this, Megan the Savior. Megan was the one that took the time, was the compassionate listener, and helped him and saved him. We are going to hear that story. It's going to make her look absolutely fantastic for sure. How's he doing? We see that in his future he is going to have some struggles with that Ace of Swords in reverse. How's he doing with other substances? He may be on top of the booze, but he may be buried in snow right now, according to Lady C. How's he doing? And again, I have to turn the card around. Lots of cards in reverse here. I actually need to count them. There's so many. The Lovers in reverse. Oh dear. The Lovers in reverse, and it's Major Arcana. He could have found a new love, a new substance to be addicted to. It sounded that way from Lady C's gestures on her channel. And Harry does not look good. Anyone with eyes can see how bad he looks in America. He really looks dreadful. He looked dreadful in his little cowboy outfit that I saw today at the rodeo. And problems, bad choices. The Lovers is also about choices, apart from being about relationships and things that you fall in love with. In reverse, bad choices, picking a very bad thing to fall in love with. Major Arcana. Reversals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Everything except the heart of it, our mirroring, our character, and the underlying energy. Everything else is in reverse. Readings with lots of reversals. Chaos. A world that is upside down. A narrative that is upside down. Because by and large, cards in reverse are negative. Some, a rare few in the reverse, are good things, like the Hanged Man in reverse is a good thing. But this is a bad reading. Harry has got a very serious problem. He is trying to exploit it to gain sympathy, for sure. Definitely to hold a gun to the royal's head, in my opinion, of course. Tarot reading. Let's see how it's going to go. Hopes and fears for Prince Harry with this book, with this narrative, with this story engine that Moiringer is busy with. Hopes and fears. And yet another card in reverse, and we get the Knave of Cups. That is the Page of Cups in reverse. And Page of Cups in reverse, he's worried that this story, and there's a bit of a shine for some reason on these cards. Why is that? He is worried that this sob story, what is the Page of Cups if not a sob story, is not going to convince us. He's worried about that. Very worried that we're not going to fall for it, we're not going to buy it. It is the sun peeking in from a side window. That's what the glare is. For those of you who haven't seen the sun for a while, there it is. It doesn't look very much like sun, but it is. And he's worried that he's not going to persuade, he's not going to be able to cry wolf, I suppose. It's a wrong metaphor, but it's that kind of energy. He's told this story so many times before with his mental health struggles. How many interviews has he given? How many, what's the words, has he sat on think tanks and things like that, where he's been going on about his mental health, that we've heard it all a million times, and there's nothing new under the sun about this. And as I say, I was looking for something much more compelling. I'm personally very disappointed. I was all willing to be persuaded that, I had misjudged him. I had judged him too harshly, and I was in the wrong. And if only I knew this sorrowful tale, I would repent of my ways and feel desperately sorry for him. But Page of Cups, he doesn't really have much. He knows it. He knows he doesn't really have much, and that cup is empty by now. That's what he's worried about. It was just a tiny little cup. Usually it's got a smelly fish in it. Now it's in the reverse. Fish has fallen out. What's he got left to tell us? What's he got left in his life other than his mental health and his drinking? Nothing. So the outcome, and when I say outcome, I mean, how is the public going to receive this news that they had a drunken prince falling off balconies and falling out of helicopters, fighting the Taliban while he was on a bender? That kind of thing. How are they going to take to this news, the public? And we get the Five of Cups in reverse yet again. All in reverse. I think that's a record for me. Five of Cups in reverse. I don't think they're going to care. Five of Cups is sorrow, remorse, regret. Oh, I'm so sorry. I misjudged you. And now I'm so sad. That's exactly what he wants us to feel, what Lady C kept telling us. We're all going to feel so sorry for him. We're going to feel so bad. Five of Cups. With the Five of Cups is in reverse. And these reversals, this one I choose to read as say, don't care. I might once have felt sorry for you. Now I don't. And a very loud confirmation from outside. And so I'm going to leave it there because this one has gone on for a long time already. And Five of Cups in reverse. Don't think that people are going to be buying this sob story. Don't think it's going to have the desired effect. That's if we ever see the book, because I did a reading a few days or weeks ago, reading number 300, that looked as if the book could actually be withdrawn. Legal issues, and maybe the person who's trying to manifest it, however well he's manifested it, doesn't really have much to work with this Knight of Wands in reverse and this Page of Cups in reverse. Not really much meat there for a writer, however good the writer is. And maybe the blackmail card will be played, and will be played successfully, and the book will quietly disappear. Who knows? All subject to change. Just reading current energy and trying to see where it goes. Anyway, that is the reading. And from the upside down world of Prince Harry to the right way up world of me and my life and you and yours. And I will see you tomorrow.